Here's the video of my car. I'm gonna start it up here in a second. Just want to give you the outside view first. Heritage grille, tinted turn signals, as well as tinted fog lights. The fog lights are out right now. It's those cheap LEDs from eBay, 20 bucks for some more, but haven't felt like doing it. The two flaws that I know of, not even my fault. One is going to be right here in the door. Literally happened earlier this week when I was at school. It's a minor ding, but it's visible, but it's whatever. And when they put the windshield in, they put a nice little line right there. Other than that, the car is, spotless. A few rock chips, but that's on every Camaro, on the little fender right there. Drilled and slotted all the way around. They're rusty because I haven't driven it in a week. Normal gas cap, still a little wet from the wash. Tint, like the description says, 35 on the windshield, 25 on these windows, 5 all the way around in the back. Tinted tail lights, black Chevy badge in the rear. I got a tinted license plate cover as well. Don't know if you care for it or not. Rear parking sensors, tinted reverse lights, LED. No, they're not LED. They're normal incandescent. Got a blind spot monitor right there. Fancy tech from 2010. In the rears, I'm running Hankook Ventures ST. They're pretty much new, like maybe 4,000 miles on them. 275 35 20s. Actually 275 40 20s. They're a little taller than most of your sports cars. The fronts are Continentals, plenty of tread left on those. Most of these cars, they'll wear the rears out quicker than anything, being a rear wheel drive and being that the fronts are smaller. The fronts are 245 40 20. So you can't really rotate them, but that comes with its own pluses and negatives. 1 inch lower in springs, pretty good, as well as the Heritage grille. We'll go to the inside here. It is the, I guess you want to call it, gray interior on the inside. My brother's handed me the keys. Both of the key fobs are typical 2010 Camaro style. The button's still in there, still works. It's like a $40 fix from what the forums say. It's still in there and it still works, so I really haven't cared enough to pay 40 bucks to fix it, to be honest. The driver's seat has been the most sad, and it's got pretty decent amount of left side wear as normal. There's the gauge cluster. That's the wide band. And then I have an open slot for whatever I was going to do next with it, I guess. I had a 2-step. That's what that hole is there for. It was in first gear you could hold your thumb on the 2-step and then, just do like that, and that way it'd be easier to launch. The MGW is kind of color matched to the car with the Camaro shifter. It does have the gauges and everything. That's the aftermarket radio. As you can see, it all lights up. You have on the top your air conditioning controls. That's where you select your air conditioning controls. The door unlock keys are featured on that panel right there, as you can see in the middle. It also has the hazard lights, seat heaters, and all your air conditioning features. Steering wheel controls come in a great handy. Radio has Bluetooth. I think you can hook Sirius XM up to it, not really sure. When I wired the wideband, I wired it directly to the amp because at the time my fuse was blown for the cigarette lighter. I've since fixed the fuse for the cigarette lighter, but I haven't wired it back from the amp to that as a turn-on switch. So when you hit the switch down here for the wideband, you get the hum from the radio. But if you turn the radio off, no hum, and just the wideband. So that is a little feature. 1-star capabilities. Passenger seat, pretty flawless. Not many people besides my brother have sat here. Back seats used like one time since I've had it at a church event with some kids. They needed to sit here. That's the only person that honestly, in my opinion, will fit back here. So carpet in the rear is pretty good. We're gonna turn on the headlights here. As you can see, don't know if you care for them. It has the blue, you can see it on that side better. Blue like night lights, I don't know, don't really care either. We'll go look in the trunk. That latch pulls, you'll see it there as well. It's not gonna fall all the way because of that seat, but we have the amp back here for all the rear front door speakers and all that. You'll see it better from the trunk. When I put jacks and stuff in here, it's taking a beating on the carpet. So other than that, you have the amp back here. And underneath the carpet, that's where your battery's back here. That's about it. There's no spare tire. A few bolts for shit, I don't even know. The trunk's pretty clean. This is a pretty warm idle. It's a good chopping cam. It's really not even that aggressive. Here's the engine bay. It's massive. A local guy did the dipping for the hydro dip on these. The P-mass. As you can see, the headers on this side. Very, very good fitment. No belt issues or nothing at all. Air conditioning's not on right now, that's why that's not spinning. Radiator's mint condition. Here's your catch can. It runs through the intake manifold up in here. And I have it mounted on the cold air intake box. That doesn't work. I usually change it about 10,000 miles. And honestly, you can go longer than that in case you forget. But it is something to keep in mind. This, I don't know if you know what it does. Basically, the oil that would run through the air system in the car after a revolution of the motor can run back through the intake. What this does is it basically will filter that air and catch the oil, hence the name catch can. It's a very helpful tool, probably definitely a must in my opinion for every car. Headers on this side, no burning of the plugs at all. That is your line lock. Locks the front brakes only to help with doing a burnout. This right here, this is your clutch fluid bleeder. Especially with a clutch of this magnitude, you do not want to burn it up or, you know, waste your money installing something like that. So it's helpful every 5,000 miles to go get a $10 thing of DOT3 brake fluid from AutoZone. Have somebody sit in the car, open that brass valve right there, and have somebody pump the fluid from the clutch out into a bottle or whatever. That way you can keep your clutch. It's like changing the fluid in your oil and your motor. You know, your clutch just has its own fluid as well. I'm gonna drive it down the street real quick so you can kind of get a, you know, maybe a visual of it from afar. My brother's gonna take the camera.